England are on top of the World Test Championship standings. Not often we get to say that. Can they maintain their place and build on the lead that they've got for themselves from the Leeds Test? We look ahead to Edgbaston in Birmingham with Steve Harmison. Harmy, good to have your company again. We know going into the game that England are going unchanged. Was that something you were expecting?
Yeah, very much so. The Jofra Archer one, there was a lot of complexities. Well, for me, why Jofra was picked in the squad. Um, People in England will know that we've just had a round of county championship games with a Kookaburra Ball, which 9 first-class matches ended in only 2 results and a lot of fielding. And this week, starting Sunday gone, they're in the middle now of another Kookaburra round. So I don't think England would want Jofra to have played in that game for Sussex. I know Michael Vaughan and one or two others were saying, leave him at Sussex, let him have a game. Not for me. Get him out of that Kookaburra game because he could have fielded for 200 overs. Then he's out of Lords. So I think the right thing was to bring him into the squad, prepare him and ready for Lords, possibly send him back to play second innings in the Sussex game, but don't make him go through that. So for me, that's why Jofra was picked in the squad, as well as England didn't really need to change their team. They've had a break in between, and their bowlers did well to get 20 wickets.
The only bowler I suppose we could look at is Chris Wokes, who had one of his toughest home tests in the
Mm.
longest time. Just one wicket, very nearly went wicketless for only the second time in a home test. What did you make of Wokes' bowling in that first test, and where will he have to improve for us to see what we come to expect of Chris Wokes?
Well, the thing with Chris is he'll not like me saying this. He's 36 years old, so he's experienced. He got an injury just prior to obviously the season starting, so his build up into English cricket was a slow one because he's been injured for quite a bit. Didn't bowl the overs. He's an old-fashioned bowler which needs overs under his belt to get better and better. He gets better by bowling overs. We've seen that last summer against Sri Lanka and the West Indies. So I had no problem with Chris Wokes. I had no worry about Chris Wokes. It was just volume of overs, and unfortunately for Chris, the volume has to come in the Test matches. And he'll be better this week because he's playing on his home ground, a ground that he knows oh so well because obviously he's been brought up at Edgbaston. And then he goes to Lords with a record which is unbelievable at Lords. So I'd never had a worry about Chris Wokes. He's just short of a gallop, needed some overs under his belt. He got them. He'd be better this week. And his batting and his all-round calmness, quality that he gives to this seed, this side is too invaluable to even contemplate leaving out because Chris Wokes is a huge member of this team now. Broad and Anderson have gone from an experience point of view.
India do know all too well what Chris Wokes can do at Lords from 7 years ago, where he did everything in that test. England will hope he finds home comforts at Edgbaston. On the whole, though, what would the bowling group have figured about the Indian batting, which did find itself in two incredibly strong positions in both the innings at Leeds? So, what can we expect from the English bowlers as they have a second go at this Indian batting lineup?
Well, I think we can safely say they improved from the first innings. I didn't think England bowled consistently well in that first innings on what was a flat pitch against a very, very good outfit. I think both sides, not just England, I think both sides could look at the sort of fielding angles and fielding positions and defending and making sure the rotation of strikes not there as much. There's a lot of left and right hand combinations in this top order of both sides. So I think both units can look at that from just a technical bowling point of view. But I think England, for me, got better and better. I think a lot of the England bowlers were a little bit rusty going into that first innings. It got better in the second innings, and with a little bit of time to reflect on just fine tuning the areas that they're trying to bowl. England took 20 wickets. They created chances, and I think they'll be better at Edgbaston for that if the wicket has anything in it. So I think what I would look from an improvement point of view is if they improve on the second innings, which would be more consistency of length, possibly a little bit fuller. I thought they were a little bit too short in that first day in that first morning. But apart from that, I'd be loath to be critical too much over 5 days. I was very critical after the first innings, but second innings were much better. I took 20 wickets on a flat pitch to win the game.
All right, give us a sense of the conditions and what we can expect from Edgbaston, which we're hearing could take some turn.
Yeah, it's been hot again. It's been hot all week here in England. I mean, very little rain, and it's not going, and the rain's not coming either. I mean, it's going to be warm again. I'm not sure India will be too worried about the heat in England. It's not exactly Mumbai or Chennai or where it gets very, very hot in India, but the dryness of the surface will be something I would imagine the ground staff and the England team might be a little bit concerned about. I think it probably will deteriorate a lot quicker than what Headingley would. That would be a tradition thing from Edgbaston. It will be just as flat for the first 3 days. It wouldn't surprise me if Ben makes the same decision and says we'll not so much we'll bowl first, but we'll look to chase anything you'll give us on day 5. And the crowd and the atmosphere will be fantastic. That Edgbaston ground now, like Headingley, is a raucous occasion over the course of the weekend. And I would imagine Edgbaston and Warwickshire's chief executive will be desperate to get a full Saturday, Sunday out of the Hollis stand because of the atmosphere they give. So starting on a Wednesday, I can see this game going into day 5 again, and it will be a good contest, and it'll be interesting to see how much turn it takes as the contest goes on. And it wouldn't surprise me if that has a reflection in the team that India select.
Yeah, and Birmingham does have a huge Indian diaspora, which we can
Mm.
expect to fill certain parts of Edgbaston. What is India's best bet to succeed in this test from everything you tell us of the expectations?
It's simple, catch it. I mean, it really is. It is so simple. I mean, it's always a difficult. I got asked, you know what? I got asked at the end of the test match, would there be a divide between batters and bowlers? Because you see it in the past, dressing rooms I've played in, some of the more fractious, the real difficult dressing rooms, the selfish dressing rooms I first came into the England side in. There were some selfish characters in there who would look at bat versus ball. We've scored runs. You didn't take wickets, but a lot of bowlers will go, well, if you caught our catches, we created enough chances. So from India's point of view, I mean, a bit like England, it's you put the ball in the right area. Can you create some pressure? In the modern day batting, the technical side of it, we'll create instances where we'll get a chance in the game. And India just didn't take their chances. It's as simple as that. I wouldn't be too critical from an individual point of view if I was Shubman Gill and Gautam Gambhir. I'd be more looking at the team as a collective unit and be critical of us as a unit because we were 430 for 3. We ended up with 471. Again in the second innings we had a good platform. England should have been chasing 450 and above, and we got blown away again. And that's just a little bit of sort of naivety of possibly English conditions. And with the ball, look, we put the ball in the right area. We just didn't take our chances. You can't give England a chance. You can't create 22, 23, 24 chances and then only take, 15 in the end. So these are little minor things that India need to improve on. I'm sure the balance of their side will be different. I was disappointed in Siraj. If Bumrah's not going to play, Siraj really has to stand up and be counted with the experience that he has. Prashad Krishna was expensive, but he created chances. And in England, I'd stick with him because he's a big, tall release point and he can make the ball bounce and he creates chances. But unfortunately, if you don't catch them, you ain't going to beat this England side.
Hmm. If batting group versus bowling group is the subject of debate, perhaps one way of winning that is fielding a lot of all-rounders. Who knows? That could be what Gautam Gambhir resorts to for the second test. Thank you so much, Steve, for setting things up for us. We will look forward to your company once again at the end of this test at Edgbaston. Thank you for your time.